Thanks, Paul, and good afternoon. And thanks for all the organizers for putting on a great meeting. I wanted to take some time today to first introduce you to who Viatris is. I can tell you before we engaged with them, I didn't know who Viatris was, so don't feel silly if you've never even heard the name before. I'm going to go through a number of things as a publicly traded company, so here's my forward-looking statements. The mission of the company, and I'll talk a little bit about the makeup in the company in a moment, is really to hit these three pillars. So access, which means access across the world to medication. You'll hear a little bit about that in a moment. Leadership within the space and making sure that we're bringing innovative solutions. And I think this is a really unique business model that we'll talk to you about across various aspects of drug development. And then partnership. And so that's a real key one for those of you that are in the room today, because it's a unique company that has a global footprint, a massive supply chain. And so partnership is really an important aspect with a company like Viatris. You're going to see some big numbers up here. And so I want to just point you to a couple of different things. For those of you that have not heard the word Viatris before, it really was formed from two different companies that you probably have heard of in the past. So this was formed by taking Mylan and Upjohn and pushing them together into one organization. It's about 37,000 employees across the globe. You'll see the number of products that are in the pipeline is just immense, $16.3 billion in sales for this last year. But I think what's more important is if you look at the reach, there are 165 plus countries throughout the world. And so this is one of the things that we're excited about to bring to eye care is just this global reach now, a giant partner that has a great infrastructure that when we bring a product to market, we're not just thinking about the United States, we're also thinking about the rest of the globe. From the standpoint of the molecules, you'll say, well, what does Viatris do? So many of the molecules you've heard of, even though you may not know it comes from this company. So things like Lipitor, Viagra, Norvasc, these are all company products that are branded outside the US. Obviously, they've been genericized here, but make up a vast majority of that $16 billion in sales that we see every year. And they're in a number of different therapeutic areas. So ophthalmology is the first division that's being built at Viatris. But they've also publicly announced that dermatology and GI will be the next two divisions. So I'm proud that Oyster Point is now the foundation of the eye care division at Viatris, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we're working on in the pipeline. When we think about the bringing together Oyster Point, Pharma, and Viatris, I think this eye care division that's being built here brings many unique qualities. One is an experienced team, so we've brought our team to the forefront, but also if you think about the leverage on the back end of the company with all the formulation scientists, the development, and then we have a pipeline now that I'm going to share a little bit with you, but also a global pharmaceutical platform. So we're going to be launching into many different countries. The first product many of you may be familiar with is Tyrvaya for dry eye disease. When we look at the portfolio, you can see a number of disease states that Paul mentioned before. So we're obviously in dry eye, blepharitis, presbyopia. I'll talk a little bit about some of these programs, as well as many of the programs that you're going to hear from Ocuphire later on today with many of these vision-disturbing problems. The first program that we're working on for blepharitis, you can see here is pimecrolimus 0.3% ophthalmic ointment that should begin phase 3 trials this year. So we're excited to kick off one of the first phase 3 programs in blepharitis for a product in this class. As many of you know, and Mina will be up here shortly to present, Ocuphire has filed their NDA for the reversal of mydriasis. And when Oyster Point came into Viatris, we brought 150 sales reps with us. So that's also exciting that now we can talk to many of the companies here. We have that US sales footprint, and obviously adding to that bag is an important thing. As we think about the rest of the Ocuphire program, you see that there's other indications for presbyopia. I'll let Mina talk in detail about that. And then the last one that I wanted to just touch on is also something that I think is really important, that we're not only focused on drugs and biologics, but also gene therapy. So we have a gene therapy platform. For those of you that have seen me talk in the past, I've mentioned this platform, but basically in a nutshell is an adeno-associated viral delivery to the lacrimal gland that allows us to do a small 50 microliter injection and that gives the patient roughly about 6 weeks of therapy without having to worry about drops or ointments or any compliance-related issues. And we are in IND-enabling studies right now, so we expect to go into the first-in-human studies next year. But what you'll see here is some data that's been presented in the past where one single injection gives about 42 days of a protein into the tear film. And you can see that we have clinically relevant amounts of protein in the tear film. This here is human nerve growth factor. We have about 17 programs ongoing in this platform right now. So we're really excited about this platform, and we think it could transform the way that we deliver biological molecules to the ocular surface, where many times in the past it's been problematic in manufacturing. It's very costly. Here again, we're able to deliver a gene therapy product to the ocular surface. No patient compliance issues whatsoever. They're basically producing and using their lacrimal gland as a biofactory. So as we look at what we've now created with the Viatris eye care division and the franchise, I think the important thing to keep in mind here is that we now have another player in the space, which is exciting as many of the other companies are sort of thinking about whether they're going to be in eye care. Some are divesting, some are investing, but I will say, Viatris is investing in eye care and investing in this franchise. We have a great pipeline that we're excited about, but also all of those things that we talk about on that global pharmaceutical platform are exciting to us as well, because we're often limited by bringing products just to the United States, and now we've got this ability to sort of transform eye care across the globe. Thanks, everybody, for the opportunity to present today.